Right now, somewhere in your garden or your orchard, there is a peach, plum, cherry, apricot, or almond tree that is struggling, and the painful truth is that most growers are about to give up on it, pull it out, or replace it when the only thing standing between that tree and a full, heavy harvest is 5 simple liquid feeds that cost almost nothing and work faster than anything you've ever tried. I've seen trees that looked completely finished, bark splitting, leaves yellowing, barely a bud in sight, turn completely around within a single season once these feeds were applied correctly. If you've written off a tree too soon, this video is going to change your mind. If you want real, practical advice on growing peaches, plums, cherries, apricots, and almonds, the kind of advice that comes from years of actual field experience, not just reading articles online, then subscribe to this channel right now and turn on notifications. Every single week I put out content built entirely on what works in the real world, on real trees, in real soil. Hit that subscribe button and become part of a community of growers who are actually getting results. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 liquid feeds that experienced growers use to revive struggling stone fruit trees and push healthy ones into production levels most backyard growers have never seen. You're going to understand exactly why these liquids work at a biological level, how to prepare each one correctly, when to apply them, and what you'll see on your trees in the days and weeks that follow. By the time this video ends, you'll have a complete liquid feeding program you can start implementing this week, regardless of whether your tree is in crisis or just underperforming. Let me start by painting you a picture that I've seen play out more times than I can count. A grower has a peach tree, or a plum, or an apricot. Could be any stone fruit that's been in the ground for 3 or 4 years. Every spring it puts on some growth, a few leaves, maybe some blossoms that don't amount to anything. The bark looks a little rough, the leaves are pale, the growth is weak, and by midsummer, that grower is standing there wondering whether it's worth keeping the tree at all. They've tried fertilizer, they've tried pruning, they've tried watering more and watering less, and nothing seems to move the needle. What's actually happening in almost every one of these cases is not what the grower thinks. It's not the variety, it's not the location, it's not bad luck. The tree is nutritionally depleted at a fundamental level, and the standard granular fertilizer routine is not getting the job done, either because it's being applied at the wrong time, in the wrong form, or because the soil biology needed to process it is too damaged to function properly. The tree is sitting in a cycle of stress that it cannot break on its own. And that's exactly where liquid feeding comes in. Here is what most gardening guides and even most nurseries get wrong about feeding stone fruit trees. They treat nutrition as a once-a-season event. Throw some granular fertilizer around in early spring, water it in, and wait. But a peach tree, a plum tree, a cherry tree, these trees have seasonal nutritional demands that change dramatically from one month to the next. What the tree needs at bud break is not the same as what it needs at fruit set. What it needs at fruit set is not the same as what it needs when fruit is sizing up. And what it needs right after harvest is completely different again. Granular fertilizers, even good ones, release slowly. They can't be targeted. They can't be timed precisely. And in a tree that's already under stress, the root system may not be functioning efficiently enough to absorb granular inputs at all. Liquid feeding bypasses a lot of these limitations. A liquid applied to the soil moves into the root zone within hours. A foliar liquid spray is absorbed directly through the leaf surface within minutes. When a tree is struggling, speed matters, and when a tree is healthy, precision matters. Liquid feeds give you both. The other thing that almost nobody talks about is what happens to the soil biology under these trees over time. Every time you apply a synthetic fertilizer, every time you leave the soil bare and compacted, every time you cultivate right under the drip line and disturb the root zone, you are damaging the microbial community that the tree depends on to access nutrients in the first place. Mycorrhizal fungi, beneficial bacteria, the entire web of life in healthy orchard soil, this gets stripped away gradually, and what's left is a dead, chemical-dependent growing environment where the tree is always fighting an uphill battle. The liquid feeds I'm about to show you don't just feed the tree. Several of them actively rebuild the soil biology. They bring life back to dead soil. And when the soil comes back to life, so does the tree. Let's get into the 5 feeds. These are applied in a specific sequence during the season, and understanding why each one comes when it does is just as important as knowing what each one is. The first liquid feed is fermented compost tea, and this is the foundation of the entire program. Compost tea is not complicated. You take a good quality finished compost, ideally from a mix of kitchen scraps, aged manure, and garden material, and you steep it in water for 24 to 48 hours with constant aeration from an aquarium pump. The aeration is critical. Without oxygen, you grow anaerobic bacteria that can actually harm your tree. With oxygen, you grow a population of aerobic beneficial microbes that is so concentrated, a single application can genuinely transform the biological activity in your root zone within days. The ratio is simple: 1 part compost to 5 parts water. Let it brew with the air pump running for 48 hours. Strain it through a piece of cloth or an old pillowcase until the liquid runs clear. Apply it directly to the root zone at a rate of about 10 liters per mature tree, poured slowly and evenly around the drip line. Do this once every 4 weeks from late winter, right through to a month after harvest. What you're doing with this feed is not just adding nutrients, you're rebuilding the entire biological system the tree depends on to feed itself. Trees treated with consistent compost tea applications develop root systems that look visibly different to untreated trees: denser, wider, more active. And that root activity translates directly into tree performance. The second liquid feed is banana peel potassium extract, and this one targets the single most limiting nutrient for stone fruit production: potassium. Potassium controls sugar development, fruit sizing, water movement in plant cells, and the tree's ability to convert blossoms into fruit. When potassium is deficient, blossoms abort early, small fruits drop before they size up, and the fruit that does make it to harvest is pale, dry, and flavorless. Banana peel extract is one of the fastest, most bioavailable sources of potassium you can give a tree. The preparation is straightforward. Take 6 to 8 banana peels, fresh or dried, and soak them in 2 liters of water for 48 hours. The water will turn a deep brown color as the potassium and other minerals leach out of the peels. Strain it, dilute that liquid into 10 liters of water, and apply it to the root zone. You can also use it as a foliar spray diluted even further: 1 part extract to 20 parts water, applied early in the morning when temperatures are cool. Apply this feed at 3 specific moments in the season: right before bud break, at petal fall when fruitlets are just beginning to form, and again 4 to 6 weeks before harvest when fruit is sizing rapidly. These 3 windows are when potassium demand is highest, and hitting all 3 is the difference between a decent crop and an exceptional one. Every stone fruit in your orchard, your peaches, your plums, your cherries, your apricots, your almonds, responds to this feed. Potassium deficiency is universal across the prunus family, and banana peel extract addresses it in a form the tree can use almost immediately. The third liquid feed is nettle or weed tea, and this is the nitrogen feed in the program, but it's delivered in a completely different way to how most growers think about nitrogen. Green plant material, stinging nettles are ideal, but comfrey, chickweed, or any fast-growing non-woody weed works well, is packed with nitrogen, trace minerals, and plant hormones that stimulate growth. You make this by filling a bucket loosely with fresh green plant material, weighing it down so it stays submerged, and filling the bucket with water. Cover it loosely, not airtight, because this is a fermentation process, and leave it for 10 to 14 days. It will smell genuinely unpleasant. That smell is the fermentation working. After 2 weeks, the liquid will be dark green or brown. Dilute it at a ratio of 1 part liquid to 10 parts water before applying. Undiluted, it will burn roots. Apply around the drip line at 10 liters per tree. This feed is most valuable in early spring, just as the tree is pushing its first flush of new growth, and again after harvest to support the tree's recovery and bud development for the following year. Unlike synthetic nitrogen, the nitrogen in fermented plant tea is released slowly as soil microbes process the organic compounds. This means you get a steady, sustained feed rather than a spike that pushes excessive vegetative growth at the wrong time. It also means you're feeding the soil biology again. Every liquid you apply that contains organic carbon is a meal for the microbial community you're rebuilding. The fourth liquid feed is wood ash leachate, and this one is where things get really interesting for growers who have struggled with poor fruit quality for years. Wood ash from hardwood, oak, maple, fruitwood, hickory contains potassium, calcium, and a range of trace minerals in a highly soluble form. When you dissolve wood ash in water, you get an alkaline liquid that does two things simultaneously. It delivers a fast-acting mineral boost to the root zone, and it adjusts soil pH upward in acidic soils. Most stone fruit trees prefer a soil pH between 6.0 and 6.5. Below that range, potassium and other minerals become chemically unavailable to the tree even when they're physically present in the soil. A struggling tree in acidic soil can be sitting on adequate nutrients that it literally cannot access. Wood ash leachate addresses both the deficiency and the pH at the same time. The preparation is simple. Dissolve half a cup of clean hardwood ash in 10 liters of water. Stir thoroughly, let it settle for an hour, and apply the liquid to the root zone without disturbing the settled residue at the bottom. Do not apply this more than once every 6 weeks, and do not apply it if your soil is already neutral or alkaline. Get a simple soil pH test first. In the right soil conditions, the response from stone fruit trees to wood ash leachate is visible within 2 to 3 weeks. Leaves develop a deeper, richer green. New growth is stronger and more vigorous, and in trees that have been sitting in a depleted, acidic soil environment for years, you will sometimes see a flush of new bud activity that looks almost like the tree is waking up from a long sleep. The fifth liquid feed is diluted fish emulsion with seaweed extract, and this is the complete feed in the program, the one that brings everything together. Fish emulsion provides a broad spectrum of nitrogen, phosphorus, amino acids, and trace minerals in a highly bioavailable form. Seaweed extract provides plant growth hormones, specifically cytokinins and auxins, that directly stimulate root development, bud initiation, and fruit set. The combination of these two ingredients in a single liquid application is something that commercial stone fruit operations have been using for decades, and it's one of the most consistently effective treatments I've seen on struggling trees of every kind. Purchase a quality fish emulsion and a kelp or seaweed concentrate from any garden center or agricultural supplier. Mix 1 tablespoon of fish emulsion and 1 tablespoon of seaweed concentrate in 10 liters of water. Apply as a soil drench around the drip line and simultaneously apply a diluted foliar version, half that concentration, sprayed directly onto the leaves and developing buds early in the morning. Do this once every 3 to 4 weeks from the point of bud swell right through to 6 weeks before harvest. The foliar application is particularly important for trees that are under stress because a stressed root system may not be absorbing soil-applied nutrients efficiently. Getting nutrition directly through the leaf surface bypasses that limitation and gives the tree what it needs to begin recovering while the soil biology is still rebuilding. I want to stop here for a moment and ask you something directly because I genuinely want to know where you're at with your trees. Right now, today, is your peach, plum, cherry, apricot, or almond tree producing the way you want it to? Or is it sitting there year after year giving you disappointment? Drop the name of your tree in the comments below, just the fruit name, whether it's peach, plum, cherry, apricot, or almond, and tell me one sentence about what's happening with it. I read every single comment on this channel, and your answer will genuinely help me make better content for you. Drop your tree name right now. Now here is your golden tip, and this is something that took me years of observation to fully understand, and that I've never seen explained properly in any guide I've read on fruit tree nutrition. The timing of your first liquid feed application in late winter is more critical than any other single decision in the entire feeding program. Most growers wait until they can see visible bud movement, until the buds are already swelling and starting to show color, before they apply anything. By that point, the tree has already been drawing on its stored reserves for weeks. The carbohydrates and minerals the tree banked in its wood and root system in the previous autumn are what it runs on through the early weeks of spring, before the root system is active enough to absorb significant nutrition from the soil. If those reserves are low, if the previous season's nutrition was poor, if the post-harvest period was neglected, the tree enters the flowering and early fruit set period already running on empty. What I do, and what I've seen the best commercial growers do, is apply the first compost tea drench and the first banana peel potassium extract in late winter, before any visible bud movement, while the soil is still cool, while the tree still looks dormant, while nothing seems to be happening on the outside, because on the inside, that tree is already beginning to mobilize. And when you feed it in that window, when you support it before it even asks, you are directly loading the reserves that drive flowering quality, pollen viability, and early fruit set. The difference in bud density and early fruit retention between trees that receive this pre-bud break liquid application and trees that don't is something you can measure and photograph. It's not subtle. It's one of the highest return single decisions you can make in the entire growing year. Before I wrap up, let me quickly go through the mistakes I see most often with liquid feeding programs, because even growers who are doing the right things can undermine their results with these errors. The first mistake is applying liquid feeds to bone-dry soil. Concentrated liquid nutrition applied to dry soil can pull water out of roots through osmosis, essentially burning them from the inside rather than delivering nutrition into them. Always water your trees the day before any liquid feed application, and make sure the soil is moist before you pour anything. The second mistake is using seaweed or fish emulsion in full sun in the middle of a warm day. Foliar sprays applied to hot leaves in direct sun will concentrate as the water evaporates and can leave mineral deposits or even cause leaf scorch. Always spray early in the morning before temperatures climb, when leaves are still cool and slightly dewy. The third mistake is over-applying wood ash leachate to soils that are already neutral or alkaline. Wood ash raises pH, and in a soil that doesn't need it, this will lock out iron and manganese and cause a different set of deficiency symptoms that look like disease. Test your pH before using ash-based feeds. The fourth mistake is stopping the program after the first visible improvement. I've seen growers apply 2 or 3 feeds, see the tree respond, new growth, better leaf color, some bud activity, and then assume the job is done. It's not. A tree that has been nutritionally depleted for 1 or 2 or 3 seasons cannot be fully restored in a single month. The full recovery arc, where the tree reaches genuine productive potential, takes a full season of consistent liquid feeding on the schedule I've described. Stay the course. Your tree is not finished. I want you to hear that clearly, because the instinct when a stone fruit tree looks bad, when it's dropping leaves, when the bark is rough, when the fruit is poor, is to give up on it. But in almost every case, that tree is not dying. It's depleted. It's asking for something specific, and it doesn't have a voice to tell you what that is. These 5 liquid feeds are that answer. Compost tea to rebuild the biology, banana peel extract to restore potassium, fermented plant tea to deliver sustainable nitrogen, wood ash leachate to correct pH and deliver calcium, fish emulsion with seaweed to complete the nutritional picture and stimulate growth hormones. Applied in sequence, on schedule, through the season, this is the program that turns struggling trees into productive ones and productive trees into exceptional ones. If you got real value from this video, if you learned something you're going to go out and apply this week, then join this channel by clicking subscribe. I post every single week. It's always practical, and it's always built on what actually works in a real orchard. There is a community of serious stone fruit growers building here, and if growing the best peaches, plums, cherries, apricots, and almonds on your property matters to you, this is where you belong. Click subscribe now and you won't miss a single video. Next week, I'm going into something that directly follows on from what we've covered today. How to read your stone fruit tree's leaves as a diagnostic map. By the time that video is done, you'll be able to walk up to any tree in your orchard and know just from looking at the color, the shape, and the pattern of what's happening on the foliage, exactly which nutrient is limiting that tree, and exactly what to do about it. It's a skill that will save you years of guesswork and hundreds of dollars in the wrong products. That one is coming next week. Don't miss it.